Hey, good afternoon. It's Pruitt out here on location, bunker number 2, somewhere in central Texas. Hey, we're glad you're here. The Defiance Daily Show with Roberts and Pruitt. Today I'm kind of going solo. Spoke to Travis this morning. Had a great conversation. Lots of things happening. I'm sure you guys have probably heard. Perhaps top of the list. It seems like some of the Epstein Files are beginning to make their way to the internet. You know me, I'm skeptical. I don't apologize for that. Anytime the government, the powers that be, release documents that are redacted, my default response to that is, well, then you haven't released the documents. You're still just letting us see what you want us to see. I mean, and you can say whatever you want. Well, we have to redact the names of the. Okay, all right, look. None of the victims are children any longer. Does my heart go out to the victims? I'm a human being. Of course, my heart goes out to the victims. They're victims. And they've not received any justice. The whole thing is just absolutely, the whole thing's despicable. It's ugly. It's gross. There's no excuse. Yet here we are. But the victims are no longer children. And even though I have great compassion for the victims, life's a bitch. Life is hard. Life just keeps on swinging. We need the unredacted, whatever they are, files, paperwork, emails. If anything's redacted, then we're not getting what we're supposed to be getting. And what's interesting about these files is that there's some really juicy stuff. And again, I'm skeptical. I don't put anything past our government. I hate our government. Our government, our elected officials, the politicians, the bureaucrats, the unelected government employees, FBI, CIA, NSA, any of the alphabet agencies have worked overtime to demand that we are skeptical and not trust them. No intelligent human being, no one of any intelligence whatsoever, would trust or believe anything that comes out of our government. And you can't cherry pick. You can't say some things, well, I believe that, but I don't believe this. My default, and this is me, hey, you're a free human being. You can do or think however you want to. And that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of freedom. But me personally, I am very skeptical of anything that the government is allowing us to see. That skepticism has been developed over decades of watching our government, watching politicians, falling for their crap. And where it's gotten me at this point in life is I don't trust them. What I do believe, though, and this is where the hope lies, is that they will make mistakes. They're not perfect. Far from it. Now, there are some very smart people. There are some very, very smart people that are running the show. Anyone that will tell you that the Democrats are a bunch of idiots, you might want to discount anything a person like that ever says, because they don't understand the game. You'll never hear me say that Democrats are idiots, that communists are idiots. They're far from it. They're actually some of the smartest people in the room, and that's why they're able to do what they do. And they consistently not only get away with it, but they consistently succeed. Point of fact, how many of them have been arrested? How many have gone to jail? Where are the arrests? Last I saw, the Clintons are free as a bird, skimming off tens of millions of dollars from things like their Haiti fund and God only knows what, living a life that few could ever even imagine. Now, would you want to live their life? I wouldn't. Obviously, Bill Clinton is not just a sick pervert, but, and by the way, don't give Hillary a free ride. She is a vile, I wouldn't categorize her. I think she's soulless. I believe she sold her soul to the devil, so she no longer fits in the category of a human being, a human being that's redeemable. She's evil. So is Bill. I think Hillary's probably more evil than Bill, simply because I was alive during the time that they were president. I listen. I go back to the research when they were Attorney General of the state of Arkansas, Governor of the state of Arkansas. That is an evil, evil couple, and I think Hillary actually ran the show, still runs the show, and she is the apex spawn of Satan. And but these people they're still free. They've not they lost. Bill lost his lawsuit with Paula Jones. I think that was $400,000, maybe $800,000, if I'm not mistaken, and lost his law license. I believe Hillary lost her law license at some point. But that is the only justice that either of those two have ever faced. Their daughter, Chelsea, I say Hillary and Webb Hubbell's daughter, Chelsea. Did I say Chelsea and Webb Hubbell? I meant Hillary and Webb Hubbell's daughter, Chelsea, who has the last name of Bill Clinton. She is not a good person either. Obviously, if you have two satanic parents, the children are not going to fare well. I digress. The point is this: government is evil. Our government is evil. It is completely corrupt. It is run by Satanists. It's run by pedophiles. It is completely out of control. I don't trust any of the politicians. I think there are some that I have a little, there's people like Thomas Massey. There's people like Eli Crane out of Arizona. There are a handful that I believe are in the fight for the right reasons, that have not been corrupted. Who's the other guy? The guy that sells the skateboards from, is it Tennessee? I think it's Tennessee. Gosh, I forget it. Anyway, good guy. I think he's legit. There's a handful, and I apologize. I'm sure there's some, maybe that some of y'all even have personal connections with, that may know on a more intimate level that you believe, and probably rightly so. You probably have good judgment that they're good people. I know there are some, but it's a tiny, tiny handful. The vast majority of our elected officials, from the county, from the city to the districts. I mean, they're corrupt. Our school boards, even the Republican. I'm talking about all of them, folks. I'm talking about all of them. I question. I I now begin to question a person's motivation to go into public office, um, because it's so lucrative, not in the pay per se, but all the other different opportunities to make money as a politician and the power. It's so intoxicating. It's so, oh my gosh, folks, it draws sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists. Um, it draws them like a moth to flame. And these people, oftentimes, when we think of individuals like this, when we hear the term sociopath or psychopath, we conjure up images of people like Jeffrey Dahmer or who was the guy out? Oh gosh, the guy they electrocuted down in Florida, Bundy. Um, and here's the thing to remember, folks: the reason why Bundy was so effective at being a serial rapist, serial killer, is that he was attractive. People trusted him. He was. Um, Look at John Wayne Gacy, who was a politician. Famously had his picture with the first lady. Even he was a precinct chair, and he was something else in the Chicago area. Very popular. Obviously worked as a clown at kids' birthday parties. These people are charming. They're very good at what they do. They're not offensive. They don't just go around pissing people off. Just the opposite. They're usually, very well spoken, and they're very welcoming, and they speak in speech patterns that are warm and inviting, and bring people close to them, and lure you in, and gain your confidence. These are con men, con women. Um, I'm afraid we've reached the point now that the system is not fixable. Um, it has to be replaced. I truly believe that. The system that we now have, it's not. And be careful about those who want to fix this. Um, you There's some things you can't fix. Okay, I use this as an analogy. Maybe it's a poor analogy. Hopefully you understand it. But like, for instance, when I hear people that want to fix the schools, they want to fix the public education system. Well, my first question is you do know who created the public education system and what it was created and designed for, who it was created and designed by. And these people, they never know. They don't know the answers to these questions. They're just trying to fix the schools. And I'm like, it's like trying to fix cancer. Both are ridiculous. What do you mean you're going to fix the schools? How? Okay, those who, and I know people that are very active, and they're, trying to get on the school boards. And I'm very leery of people. And I'm talking about Republicans that run for school board and all this kind of stuff. Folks, I've met these people. Oh God, they're not good people. They're seeking power. They're wanting to run for the school board for one simple reason. They're using that as a springboard for the next political job, the next level. Um, you can't fix public education. Uh, Fix it to what it was originally designed to do. I mean, what are you trying to fix? Look, folks, it's time that we all have to grow up. Who in their right mind has children in order to turn over to the state so that the state can raise them, educate them, feed them, nurture them, indoctrinate them. What is that? What, I mean, just think about that. What I just said, think about that. You have children. And I'm assuming as a parent, I want to assume the best. So I want to assume that a young couple gets married. You get married because you want to build a family. You want to have kids. Real men want children. They want a legacy. They want the name to go on. Okay, so you have these children. And starting at the oldest, 5, most times these kids now are going into pre-K at 3 and 4 years old. You're taking your child and you're turning them over to the state. Many of you, it's the same government that you're fighting against right now, but yet you're going to take your child and for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, turn your child over to a corrupt state. Just think about that for a second. The insanity of that. And that is insane. That is insane. And look what we're getting because of it. And don't sit here and tell me, well, my kids, but I get them on the weekends and this and that, and I teach. Listen. And I know this is a very sensitive subject for a lot of people. People get all kinds of offended. Well, you need to be offended. Instead of being offended, you should get pissed off. And not at me. If the state has your kid 8 hours a day, you're going to lose. It's simple math. You're going to lose. You're going to lose all day long. You got to get your kids out of public school. It's going to destroy them if it already hasn't. Here's the other thing about public school. Some people will say, well, my kids went through public school and they did great. Okay, compared to what? Compared to what? If your kids did okay and went through public school, what could they have done if they wouldn't have been destroyed and polluted by the public education system? What could they have done? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to get into all that. That wasn't the point of this. I'm just saying, if you trust the government in any shape, manner, or form, if you think government is a solution for anything, you first have to change your thinking. You first got to get your head screwed on straight, because that will end up, that is the problem we're suffering today. The reason why we're at where we're at today is because the government is involved in every aspect of our lives. Everything. It's involved in everything. And we're being taxed to the point where it's out of control. Government is evil. Our founders knew this. Our founders, that's why it's in our founding documents that we, the people, have the right. When this government becomes tyrannical, we have the right to stand up and revolt and change our form of government. That's where we're at. I don't say that with glee because I'm a realist. I'm logical. I approach things like this very pragmatically. I've read enough books. I've read enough history. I've read enough. I read all the time. If I'm not reading, I'm listening to books on tape. I'm watching podcasts. I'm listening to podcasts. The one thing I don't do is watch CNN or Fox or MSNBC or any of that garbage. I'm not polluting my brain with any of that propaganda. I'm filling my brain with really good information. I know what a revolt looks like. I know what a civil war at this point looks like. And it's ugly. It is uglier. It is uglier than anything you could ever imagine. It's uglier than World War I. It's uglier than World War II. It's even uglier than the War of Northern Aggression in the 1860s. It's uglier than that. We lost almost 800,000 Americans in the War of Northern Aggression. Never in the history of mankind have you had so many people with so many weapons and the technology, communication, go down the list, where the people have become so polarized. The world has never seen this before, ever. The world has never seen this. There is not a person watching this that will not be touched by this civil war. That has already begun, by the way. This civil war has already started. And you might be saying, oh, come on. No, yes, it has. We have dead people. We already have casualties. People are in prison. People have been imprisoned. My friend Stuart Rhodes spent almost 2 years in a U.S. gulag in solitary confinement, which, by the way, under the laws, the rules of the Geneva Convention, that's illegal. What they did to Stuart Rhodes was considered torture. Putting somebody in solitary confinement for that period of time is against the Geneva Convention. Yet my friend Stuart Rhodes, who went to prison for no reason, wasn't even in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. Wasn't even there. Yet was gathered up and locked up and thrown into a six, I believe it was a 6x8 cell. Solitary confinement. Can you imagine? By the way, he wasn't the only one. I know Stuart. Stuart is Stuart's a great man. He's a patriot. I hate to say that I know his heart. I don't want to come across like I've been his best friend for all. He's like, we met each other in kindergarten. I've known him. Because that's not true. I haven't known Stuart all my life. I've only known Stuart for a couple of years. One of my really close friends, the founder of Defiance Press and Publishing, Dave Roberts, knew Stuart longer than I did. And I know how Dave spoke about Stuart. So I feel like I can say this, but I feel like I know Stuart's heart. He's a good guy. He loves this country. He loves this country. He served this country. He would sacrifice his life for this country, even though this country has treated him like dog shit. But I've listened to Stuart. I've listened to Stuart's story. We've had Stuart on our podcast. You should go back and look at the interviews we've done with Stuart Rhodes. Yes, we're in a civil war. It's the beginning. This is how all civil wars start. They start out very, very slowly. And then at some point, there's different triggering mechanisms that create escalations, and all of a sudden hockey sticks. It does hockey stick graph. You've seen the graph. This is how civil wars work, and that's where we're at. I wish it wasn't true, but every single person watching this right now is going to be personally affected by this civil war. You're going to lose loved ones. You may even be a casualty of this civil war, but you're going to have family members you're going to lose. I'm going to have family members who are going to lose. I am well aware that I could lose my life in this. This is dead serious stuff, and you better wake up. It's not a game. This is not a He-Man thing. This is not a beat your chest, man, up to bring on the enemy. Man, bring them on. I'm just going to be killing people. That's not what this is. And there's people like that. That's not what I'm doing. You totally misunderstand. What I am pleading with you to turn off the damn Super Bowl. Turn off your damn TV. Quit watching Fox News, for the love of God. This is especially to you boomers. I'm talking to you. Good grief, man. Good grief. You guys are the ones that keep putting people like Wheels Abbott and John Cornyn and Lindsey Graham and Thune and all these rhinos. You're the ones who keep electing those guys. For the love of God, stop it. Please. We got a lot of work to do. These Epstein Files, they're going to be exposing a lot of stuff. Some of it's true, some of it I don't know. Look, here's the deal. I'm starting to see the Twitter sphere going crazy with this, and that's great. No matter what it is, listen. I remember going through COVID and everybody being shut out and people being canceled. So I don't think we need to have censorship. I don't think we need to have some governing arm that's going to make a decision on what's true and what's not. I think if you want to live in a free society with freedom of speech and freedom of press and all these different freedoms, you have to take the responsibility to vet information, to research it. Travis and I were on the phone today and we were talking about some of this stuff. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow on the show, Defiance Daily Show podcast with Roberts and Pruitt. Tomorrow it starts at noon Central live on Rumble. We were talking about vetting a lot of this information and some of the things we were doing and how we were doing that. We want to be very careful. We don't, man. We don't want to be the next Candace Owens, okay? As you're going through this information, vet it. Just, if nothing else, put it in Grok. Put it in, dig into it. Don't come this is where the whole Q-tard thing came up, and this is why so many Republicans went off the rails and became retarded Q-tards, and they've still not even recovered from that bullshit. Ended up believing that the earth is flat and all this crazy insanity. Okay, this is how you prevent that. When you see one of these files, when you open up your Twitter and you read a file and it's just unbelievable. That doesn't mean it's not true. We have to guard ourselves and say, okay, just because I want this to be true, that's not good. This sounds unbelievable, especially if it's like something with Bill Clinton. We hate Bill Clinton or Bill Gates or one of these other fuckers that we know need to be, okay, I can't say what what needs to happen to them. I know. Maybe it will. I'm hoping we see the day. I would love to see justice come the way it needs to come. But let's just say, so you read something and it's whatever. Just because it's enticing and we want to believe it, that's not good enough, folks. Do some real research. Put it into Grok. Put it into ChatGPT. Don't trust just one AI. Use multiple AIs. Dump it in. See what comes back. And even then, be careful and try to find other sources. Don't just believe it. Be responsible. Have some intelligence. If you're blessed with an IQ over 89 or 90, use it. Don't just repost because it's, incredible and gross or it supports things that you already believe. Don't do that. Then you become part of the problem, and that's going to come back and bite us. Vet the information. Vet it before you pass it on. That's just one thing I would say. But we're going to see a lot of stuff come out. The other thing I want you to remember is this. They ain't showing us the stuff that they don't want us to see. Do you hear what I'm saying? They ain't showing us the stuff that they don't want us to see. They're not going to. Everything that they've released, you have to ask yourself a question. Why are they allowing me to see this? You have to ask yourself that. You have to, if your brain is at all working at this point, thinking that somebody was gracious and finally let us see the truth, that you couldn't be more wrong. There's nothing, this isn't the US government being benevolent. This isn't a politician being benevolent. They are showing us what they want us to see. Okay? Do you understand that? If they don't want you to see it, you ain't seeing it. I ain't seeing it. We're not going to see the stuff that they don't want us to see. Remember that. So, with all that being said, I just wanted to stop by and say hi. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Travis sends his love. You know, we don't know how much time we have. It's such a beautiful day today out here in Central Texas. The weather's just been amazing. It was a little cold last weekend, had some snow. Definitely had some snow, which we don't get a whole lot of snow down here in Central Texas, but we do. Thank God for global warming, right? But the weather has just been beautiful, just a beautiful day today. I'm so blessed. It's nice to have a place you can defend. But we don't know how much time we have, folks. Regardless of civil war, no civil war, regardless of any of that, we don't know how much time we have. I don't, you don't. Tomorrow was not promised. I would tell each of you, I would tell all of you, the most important thing, get your life right with Jesus. I can't imagine being a warrior and going into battle and not knowing that if I don't come out of the battle alive, okay, well, what's after that? What happens after? I can't imagine not knowing, because I love, some of y'all may remember Zig Ziglar. I loved Zig Ziglar. He was great. He used to say something. He said, you're going to be dead lots longer than you're alive. Think about that. That gets a little heavy, doesn't it? All I'm saying is this, folks. Get your life right with Jesus. And I'm being specific. I'm saying Jesus. You can't get your life right with God without Jesus. Okay? So, you'll hear some, hey man, get your life right with God. Okay, I don't disagree with that. But the only way you get your life right with God is through Jesus. Jesus is the only way. He is the only way. There is no other way. Get your life right with Jesus. Because we are coming into a time, folks, we are going to learn. We're going to learn. So, get your life right with Jesus. Also take responsibility for protecting your loved ones. Stay armed. Get trained up. Prepare mentally, physically, spiritually. How will you be remembered 10 years from now? 100 years from now? Will anyone remember you after you die? Or will a handful of people show up at some little church somewhere and dig a hole, put you in, come back to the little fellowship hall or whatever, and sit around and eat some fried chicken, potato salad, tell a couple of stories, disperse, and that's it. Nobody remembers you after that. Or do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? Some important questions. We live These are the times we live in, folks. I hope you're asking yourself these things. I hope you're thinking about these things. So stay armed, be eternally vigilant, be grateful for living in the greatest country the world has ever seen, at one of the most amazing times in history. Be grateful. Thank God for the opportunity before you because you live in such tumultuous times. Stay armed, stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel. God bless you guys. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. This is Pruitt with the Defiance Daily Show with Roberts and Pruitt. Signing off.